Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Get Good. Today we continue our exploration of double stroke rolls with the 5-stroke roll. And this is part 1. There's a couple different ways it can be played, and I'm going to show you one of the ways that we can do it, the more traditional way, and a few different ways that we're going to be using it around the drum set. Let's take a look. So just a little bit of a snippet of what we can do with that. The 5-stroke roll is based on 2 doubles followed by a single. So real quick, if you're just getting into what all these rolls are, you're going to probably want to go back and take a look at the double stroke roll and some of the preparatory lessons for this. I've linked to at least 1 or 2 of those down in the description below. When we hear the number that's describing a roll, 5-stroke roll, 7, 9, whatever, it's talking about the actual number of hits. So that's what strokes just means. So 5 strokes just means there's a total of 5 hits comprised of 2 doubles in this case and a single at the end. So right, right, left, right, or left, left, right, left. And I mentioned that there's more of a traditional way of playing it that we were just doing there. And what we're doing is playing essentially in a duplet sort of feel. So right, right, left, right, rest, 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 left, right, left, rest, 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 right, left, right. So there's a bit of a pause in there. And there is a second way of playing this that we'll cover in the next lesson. But today we'll take a look at this one. So here it is again. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play it alternating. And it starts like so. Right, right, left, right, rest. Left, right, left, rest. Join me. Right, right, left, right, rest. Left, right, left, rest. Right, right, left, right, rest. Left, right, left, rest. Right, right, left, right, rest. Left, right, left, rest. Now, if this is familiar to you and easy at this point, you could also get a little bit extra practice on this by trying it with your feet. Right, right, left, right, rest. Left, right, left, or both at the same time. Right, right, left, right, rest. Left, right, left, rest. Let's get the metronome going. Right, right, left, right, rest. Left, right, left, go. Right, right, left, right, rest. Left, right, left, rest. Right, right, left, right, rest. Left, right, left, rest. I'm going to go to the floor tom with my right hand. Rest. 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 And you might remember also, I actually had mentioned kind of 3 rests in there. If you think about the pace these hits are going, space, 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 there's really 3 spaces. Space, 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 dot, 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 space, 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 dot, 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 space, 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 dot. Let's go a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Right, right, left, right. Left, right, left. Space, space, space. Right, left, right. Space, space, space. And a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Right, right, left, right, space, space, space. Left, right, left, space, space, space. Okay, on to the next speed. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And if you've been with us for some of the previous lessons, you'll know we've been working on double bounces. At this speed, we're not bouncing yet. It's all wristed here. Let's go a little faster. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. I'm going to go up on the higher toms. Left, left, right, right, left. Right, right, left, left, right. Space, space, space. Left, left, right, right, left. Space, space, space. Now down to the lower ones. And faster yet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the right hand ones down on the lower rank of drums and the left ones up on the higher rank, like so. Right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left. Okay, let's go on a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And faster. Back to the snare drum. Right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left. Let's go up to 160, and now we're going to go up to the hi-hat. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, and a little faster. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm going to slow down the metronome for a little bit and switch to twice as fast. So there's going to be a little bit of a leap here, speed-wise. So if you're newer to this 5-stroke roll, you might find these next speeds to be a little bit too fast. If that's the case, just watch, process, go back and practice this a little later. But we're going to switch up into speeds where we begin to use bounces, because this is where the 5-stroke roll can begin to go quite quick. Okay, so we're at 80 beats per minute now. And my underlying rhythm without the double bounces is right, left, right, left, right, left. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So you can see how that works. This again requires that you have gone back and done the work on double bounces so that you can keep even double bounces going. And realize that all you're really doing is just playing this fast, in this case, but bouncing your sticks with slightly a little more pressure and also a little more follow through. A little faster, 90 beats per minute. So this will be 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. I'll start with that rhythm. Now I'll switch to doubles. And now a little faster, 100. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Now to the doubles. faster, and just try to listen and make it as clean as you can. That's what I'm aiming for too. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sorry, I started right in that time. 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN. 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN. And one more tempo, 120. 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN. And remember again, this is the underlying tempo, or rhythm, sorry. And up on the hi-hat. Playing the accent there on the single stroke is customary, but not necessarily always required. You know, it just kind of depends on the context. So it's good to actually practice it both ways, with the accent and without. Now, let's take a look at playing this as a groove. We've already looked at a couple different ways we could move it around the drum set, especially at slower speeds. And even at the faster speeds where you're bouncing, of course, you could do... be placing the single strokes up on the toms or the crashes or what have you. But looking at the hi-hat, we could keep going with the alternating rolls. But at this point, it's a good idea to look at one of the other rhythmic ways of interpreting this. This traditional way of playing the 5-stroke roll can be played either 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN, really. Or you can put the accent on the beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. And if you do that, that gives us a way of playing this that is going to be a little more amenable to creating a groove out of it. So let's go up to the hi-hat and try that out, starting with the single. It becomes right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right. And eventually, of course, you could work up your speed. And as before, if we take every second 5-stroke roll and put the single stroke on the snare drum, we get a backbeat. The right single's up on the hi-hat, and the left is on the snare in this way of playing it. It could also be done left-hand lead too. So now all we need is a bass drum to turn this into an actual drum set groove. So we'll play a bass at the same time as the right-hand single. Right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, and so on. Okay, here's what it looks like a little faster. And faster yet. And as you heard at the very beginning, you could, of course, begin to move some of the different bass drums around. That takes a little bit of practice, but slow it down and figure out which hand it's lining up with and make sure it's hitting with the first of the double strokes if it lines up with one of those. And you'll be in a great place for taking this a little further and making it a little more flexible. One last thought about this, sometimes it's a little easier to just go with a lead hand sticking throughout, which means that you're going to make all the rolls on one side. So instead of right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, you could have them all be right-handed rolls, for example, if you're right-handed like I am. Right, right, left, left, right, 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 left, left, right. So if I'm starting my groove with singles up here, I could do it that way, and now I don't have to think about which hand is crossing over the snare. Not a big deal, but sometimes that's handy to have. So here's what the groove would look like in that case. Right, 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 right. That's basically what I'm doing, but with doubles mixed in. And so on. So very useful. I hope you enjoyed this lesson today, and I hope that this gives you some new ideas and some starting places for exploring the 5-stroke roll on your own. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to type them into the comments section below or contact me on my website, kitmills.com, and I'd be happy to answer you at either place. So this was part 1 of a 2-part series, so you're going to want to tune in on the next episode of Let's Get Good for part 2, another way of interpreting the 5-stroke roll, which is a really more flexible way of doing it and a lot of fun. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you haven't already done so, I encourage you to hit like on this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and that'll always be the best way of hearing of any upcoming streams or videos or any changes in schedule. So thanks so much for joining me, and then until next time, keep on drumming. See you later.